Hi, this is Wasabi. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be on the new Soviet premium tank, the Object 274A, which is going to be made available through a marathon starting on the 27th of November. This video is going to be more about the gameplay about the tank and give you some statistics about it, but we'll put links below for the information in tanks.gg and also the announcement information so that you can get a bit more background. We're following PR154, who's one of our new community contributors. Well, he's mostly there for the written content at the moment, but we'll follow his gameplay and we'll just mention his setup. He's running the improved rotation mechanism, which gives you faster rotation speed for the turret and the hull, as well as giving you a 10% reduction in bloom rate for the gun when you're rotating. So similar to what the vertical stabilizer does. And you would mount that if you can't use the stabilizer. And he's also, you can see him firing on the move at the charioteer, but the missed each time. So even though he's running IRM, he's also running vertical stabilizer. And the other thing is he's running the turbocharger. Turbocharger is one of the new equipment modes, which gives you faster top speed. So adds 5 kilometers per hour to your top speed and also a certain amount to your reversing speed, as well as improving your overall pickup, etc. So that tells you a little bit that without that it's a bit of a slow medium tank in that context. Now he's come up to this location. We're playing on Westfield and he's here with a group of medium tanks that you spawn with on the side. So you can see that okay, he's put in shot to that Object 416, done 317. So let's have a quick look at the shells. So the armor piercing shell has an average damage of 320 and average penetration 227 and a shell velocity of 1043 meters per second. So not bad for a standard AP shell to have just over 1000 meters per second. We'll just have a quick look at the next. The premium round is APCR, so APCR versus not heat. So same average damage and penetration goes up to 289. So with RNG potentially up to 362. So potentially you could be playing against T10s and penetrate them, but again you'd have to be careful as a tier 8 against T10s, of course. And then that also brings the shell velocity up to 1300 meters per second, so quite a decent speed for that. APCR is the fastest rounds. It means you get a fairly flat trajectory and less lead that you need to do. And there's your HE shell, not that I think it uses that much. Average damage 420 and penetration of 62, but a good shell velocity of 1000 meters a second as well. So same as the AP shell. We're about burst radius, and that doesn't. Oh, that's interesting. That's replicated. So part of that might be the mods doing that. So here is damaging the T44. And he's up to 1500 damage and got a bit of assisting damage. Don't have information on the view range yet, but you can treat that as being relatively the same. I don't know what the cruise skills were on this this build, but he's playing his Object 140 crew, so he's getting both smooth ride and snapshot from the driver and the gunner. So that helps his shooting on the move, although I think, as you've seen, close combat is probably where you need to basically be shooting, because across the valley, he wasn't getting the accuracy he needed. So it's just basically moving up here. It's got good, strong turret armor. You can see the turret design gives you that indication. If we have a look at our own tank, I'm not sure if we'll get the stats come up. No, it doesn't look like it's there, or it's not showing up your own tank, basically. But it's just poking with the turret. You can see the turret design quite well rounded, particularly the front around the gun mantlet would lead to a reasonable amount of deflection of shots. So he's already bounced 1020. And by the way, this is an all tier 8 game, so there's no top tier in this game. Everyone's the same tier. And you can see the super Pershing there. He's managed to go through, and with his standard rounds, and he's only firing standard rounds so far. So again, good performance there, showing you the capability. But this is a tier 8 game, so probably not much need to use premium rounds unless you wanted the shell velocity. T69 basically firing, I'll give you his view just to show that in more detail, but firing at the turret of the T69 probably won't go through unless you're getting the side of the turret. So this is just a red reticle there. But anyway, the game's progressing. They're doing well as a team, so up 8-5, so this is going to be over relatively soon, I would think. There's only a few tanks left on this side, and it looks like most of them are pulled back, so the team are pushing up. He's got a Progetto with him, but well, that's the only one left on his side, but yeah, I'm sure they can basically do a bit more damage here. So he's just coming up here to see whether the T69 is hanging around, and he spotted the ELC even 90. Not sure if you'll get a line on that. Fires on the move there and actually manages to collect him, so that's probably a little bit of luck involved there. You can see the size of the reticle. It's not that accurate, but again, here's probably what we think the strength of the tank is going to be, is in this sort of closer in brawling. And although he took a hit from the T69, managing his exposure, he's not going to get exposed to the autoloader. Put another shot into the lower plate, so it's getting plenty of damage in there. You can see that average 320 damage he's getting quite well. And let's see if he can pin this T62. No, I really didn't spend enough time aiming there. But again, this is what you're trying to get out of your V-stab and your IRM plus your crew skills, is to be able to shoot on the move with a bit more accuracy. But it looks like it pays a bit to get your aim in on this tank. So just coming around here, now the game's nearly over. So for example, here he's aiming on the Skoda T27. You can see the reticle is still a bit bigger than the tank itself. So at that longer range, that's not necessarily going to give you great results. But nonetheless, he's done 3,400 damage. Assisted damage of 1120, and there's only really one tank left in the game here. So it looks like that's going to be his final damage total, combined of 4,559. So it's showing pretty good performance there. We've seen the tank do average around 1,200 damage a game with different players, but so this is going to be a good game, I think, a good result for PR. And in fact, that's the last one in the game, so no more damage there. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the results and see if we can wrap up with a bit more information. So that was an ace tanker game for PR. He describes it as sort of a cross between a 907 and a T10 in terms of its playstyle, so it gives you an idea, a bit of mobility and good armor and brawling sort of capability. See there his total damage gave him the high caliber award. We'll have a look at the detail in the next few slides there. Good credit there, but again, we'll see how that was made up. 1318 base experience gave him the ace tanker, and you can see that's a pretty average amount for a tier 8. So yeah, not just because it was a brand new tank. And you can also see how it compared against some of the other premium tanks on his team in terms of the damage done, but again, situational. They didn't get the opportunity to shoot and do damage, then it may not have been directly the same. But again, the DPM and the overall gun handling at the close ranges gave him that damage. So 25 shots fired, 17 hit. It reflects the accuracy at long range. He made a few shots like that. One that did connect, but a few that didn't. 12 hits did penetrated, but most of the ones that didn't pen were the ones against quite high frontal armor and the T69 and the super Pershing. So I see good earning potential there for the tank, and good damage potential there. So any questions, please leave them in the